Hey, so I'm out here in the barn and I'm putting up the wood that I will use to mount the steel. God, my brain just shut down again. Purlins. Anyway, these pieces of wood. Putting these pieces of wood up. Okay, so far so good. Got a bunch up already. I want to show you a couple of quick things in terms of technique and talk about some other things. So, when you put these up, you want to get them at the right height all the way across. You want them even and you want them level. Okay, so not that big of a deal. I do this trick here. I screw a piece of wood in here. So this one here is the right height. Screw a piece of wood in to lay that on and balance it. This is for when you're working by yourself. If you've got a helper, you don't need to do this crap, but I'm assuming here you're doing this by yourself just like I am. So anyway, you get that there, you set it up, not a big deal. And then you lift up the piece of wood. Yay, hold it in place. And use your level. Set the level on top of the piece of wood. Make sure it's level. Throw a screw in. Not a big deal. Go back, screw in the other side. So far, so good. But a couple of quick things I wanted to show you. When you're measuring boards up above and it's way high up and you got to get the level, you know, normally you'd set the level on top and it's kind of hard to see. Sometimes you might be tempted to bring the level down and put it under the board. Don't do this. You're tempted to read it here because it's easier to read because it's facing you, but you're not going to get a valid reading. You need to rotate it around, press it into the wood, and then stand up on your tippy toes to get your reading to ensure it's level. Just little technique. Other things. The other thing I want to talk about. One of the really nice things about this kind of construction, using the boards and then mounting the steel on top of the boards, is I'll have this air gap. So I've got insulation inside here. This is 5.5 inch thick R23 insulation filling up this space, but then I've got an air gap. Yay! Why is that important? Well, it's important for vapor to move around a little bit, but also the top of this wood gives me a wonderful place to run a water line. So I can run the water line. It's on the inside of the insulation. It's in a good place. I'm not going to screw in where the water line is because I already know where the boards are when I make my measurements to run my screws in the steel, just like this, because I have the screws at exactly the center mark of each board, so I'm not going to hit the water line, and I can run the water line on top of that board all the way around. If you remember, I had the electrical up and I ran the electrical on the outside wood. So far, so good. Some of you who are new to pole barn construction but may have done stick construction, standard post construction, might be tempted to drill through one of these supporting posts. Do not ever do that. In fact, I'm going to give you some math and explain why. You never, ever in post frame construction do you ever drill through one of these posts. You can do it in stud frame construction. It's not a big deal, but in post frame construction, it's a major deal. So we're going to come over here and we're going to look at my little notepad and I'm going to give you some stupid math, some Devon math, and forgive my scratchings. It's very difficult to read, but I don't care. So real quick, we'll start with, I have a 40 foot by 30 foot pole barn. It's 16 feet high, but the important number here is 40 feet by 30 feet, which is 1,200 square feet. So my roof, the space that my roof takes up is 1,200 square feet. And where I live, that 1,200 square feet roof has to be able to support a 35 pounds per square foot snow load. 35 pounds per square foot times 1,200 square feet is 42,000 pounds. It's a lot of weight. So what is that carried on? Well, that's carried on my posts. All of my posts here carry the entire weight of the roof and carry it into the ground. So everything is carried on the posts. There's nothing else carrying the weight. Cool. My posts are 6 by 6 in diameter and they're 16 feet high. 6 feet or 6 inches times 6 inches times 192 inches, which is 16 feet, gives me 6,912 cubic inches per post. divided by 144 gives me, can't read that, 48 board feet. So you all took 8th grade shop. I'm assuming you know what board feet is. I have 48 board feet per post. That's the amount of wood in that post per post. Well, I've got 16 posts total. That's all I have. I got 16 posts holding up that entire roof. That works out to a total of 768 board feet. 48 times 16, 768. Not hard to do this math. 42,000 divided by 768 is 54.69 pounds per board foot. So these posts have to be able to support that much weight per board foot. 16 or 54.69 pounds per board foot. Okay, that's quite a bit. Why do I say that's quite a bit? Let's say I've built this building with studs, traditional stick frame stud construction. So that's a 2x6 spaced every 16 inches. So let's do the math. 2x6 times 16 feet is 2 times 6 times 192 inches is 2,300 and 4 cubic inches per stud. Divided by 144, that gives me 16 board feet per stud. Nice, simple math, works out really well. Well, how many studs do I have? I got 16 board feet, but if this was 2x6 construction on 16-inch centers, I would have 108 studs holding that load. So that means I would have a total of 1,728 board feet carrying that weight. 42,000 divided by 1,728 is 24.3 pounds per board foot, which is why you can drill through studs, because even though the stud is smaller individually and weaker individually than the post, there are so many more of them that each stud is carrying a fraction of the load that these posts carry. When you drill through a post, you significantly weaken it and you significantly increase your chance for a collapse in your pole barn. So let's all take the promise. I state your name.
I state your name.
Do hereby promise to never, ever drill through a post when building my pole barn. Run your water lines on the inside so they don't get frozen right here, or right here, wherever. You run them on top of the inside purlins. Run your electrical on the outside. That way you can get your electrical up before you do your insulation. You can actually use your barn. Keep everything safe. Try not to die. Try not to have a horrible accident, and good luck building your pole barn. Thanks for watching.